We are live. This is Reseller Wake Up, episode 174. What's going on, everybody? How's the week going so far? It's a Wednesday. Seems pretty good over here. So far, so good. Been having a good couple weeks on Amazon. eBay's picking up. Lots of kind of bigger ticket sales, $50 to $100. It's been pretty nice. What's up with y'all? How's everybody doing? Yep. I know you want to. You look like you want to say something.
Deb's good. She was busy listening to Journey. She couldn't answer. I'll answer for her.
My dog has a banana cookie. She was like, my husband dropped a cookie on the floor. So, I'm good. I'm getting bids on my. I put almost my entire store, like 98% of my store went on auction yesterday for starting price $9.95.
Ooh, let me go check that out.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I have some resellers that are buying, or they're bidding on things.
Do you combine shipping?
No, I put them in 8-pound parcel select boxes. It doesn't matter what it is.
It doesn't matter what it is. I ship it medium mail.
Somebody had something shipped medium mail, didn't they, recently?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I've got a package coming medium mail that I'm a little worried about, but we'll see how that goes.
I would never ship anything like parcel select. I've seen the way those boxes arrive. Oh my god, they look like they just take them in the back and play soccer with them.
Parcel select isn't even cheap,
It's
isn't
not.
I have yet to find a package in the last year and a half since they changed the rate that I can't beat with either priority if it's close enough, or with or even like FedEx Ground or FedEx Home Delivery.
FedEx is, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's always like within $1 or $2 a priority, but if you go FedEx, it's usually half the price that you would send USPS if it's like a $10 or a 10-pound or larger item. But what about you, Scott? You're about ready to go on a little trip, aren't you? Another one?
Yeah, Monday I leave for Chicago. I'm gonna take I gotta be there on the 16th, so I'm gonna take 10 days to get there. And then
you're just gonna be sourcing all the way.
All the way, and then I'm gonna take 13 days to get home.
What are you going? 20 miles a day?
Big city to big city. Lexington, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Chicago, Cleveland, Toledo, Pittsburgh.
If I get this car taken care of and I actually get a new one out of it, then I will be doing sourcing trips like that. I just don't trust my car to make trips like it.
Yeah, I haven't done Periscope, but I'm on a Periscope, so I'm like Raken's been doing, and take a video every day of some of the stuff I find.
Well, the nice thing about Periscope is it still hangs around for a while, so you can just rip it and then lift that out, post it up to your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I bought this new phone, so hopefully it'll take pretty decent video.
Can I have your old phone?
They took it back.
Ah, bastards.
Yeah. What about you, Dusty? How's the week?
What day is this?
You've just been out at the lake for what, a week now?
We got back Monday morning. We were gonna come back Sunday night. It was kind of like, yeah, what's about more hours? Just get back real early Monday in time to do shipping. But no, I did. Unloaded all the crap out of the car. Went through a bunch of crap. Listed a bunch of crap. Paid $20, $25. It was part of a package deal for a record player, vintage record player, turntable, and sold it within an hour of listing it for $500. That was awesome. I had it listed at $650, and the first offer came along, and I was like, that'll work. I'm going to get greedy and try to squeeze the guy for $40, $50 more dollars. Bought some kind of electrical piece of test equipment crap. I think I paid $10 or $15 for it. I'd have to go back and check my video. Sold it last night for $150. That was eBay. Amazon, I haven't done a whole lot. I'm just trying to knock out some eBay crap. So Amazon's just kind of on autopilot with whatever's there selling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about it. I'm kind of on a spending freeze because I've run out of room. But if the right deal comes along, I'll make room. And we've done it before, dude. We've had we couldn't even get to our dining room table for 3 months. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I'm almost there now. I gotta get this shipment in by the end of the week. But once I get this taken care of and out of the way, then I'll just have a few electronics that I need to list on eBay, and then move on to finally get this clothing started. I've been sorting through a lot of clothes this week. I finally got to the point on Amazon with that repricer where I'm getting enough sales that I can kind of like step back and go, oh, huh, I'll just let that be for a while and focus on eBay. But I just had to get everything organized first before I want to get my systems in place, where I start doing everything kind of like clockwork. And then once I get that down, I'm planning on bringing somebody in and having them help out a little bit.
Well, Amazon's like that monster for me that you constantly have to feed because, whatever you send in that's really hot, really good, great ranking, of course, is going to sell off immediately. But I've always got, like, old inventory books that I sent in 6-9 months ago that are trickling in. I mean, it adds up to some money, so even if I run out of the good stuff, but there's always that need to keep kind of, like, feeding the beast, so to speak.
Yep, that's what I want to talk about today is, like, what...
Feeding the beast.
What it's going to take to... I mean, everybody talks so much about how much money they're going to make during quarter 4, what they're doing in quarter 4. Oh, go ahead, John. We better find out what's going on with you before we go on with anything else.
I decided September 1st that I was going to put my head down and work and do 50% more than the 30,000 I did in September. As of right now, I'm at 42,22277 on Amazon. I'm at $6,000 on eBay, and I'm at 1,300 in phone orders. I'm going to be well over 50 grand. I have my first $4,000 day on Amazon.
Nice. That's insane.
I like today's topic.
So that's what we're going to talk about. We're talking about what it takes to get to those numbers, what it takes to maintain those numbers, or just getting to the numbers that you want to be at. I mean, first and foremost, you got to make sure that you have the inventory in there. I mean, if you've got $10,000 in inventory, you will never sell more than $10,000, right? So I mean, like, based on your guys' sell-through rates, what kind of inventory do you try to maintain? Where do you start looking at, like, all right, I need to sit back and I'm getting behind again. I need to grind it out and get some more stuff in there so that I can keep those numbers up. I mean, what are you guys looking at? I mean, it's making me think about it a lot just because my sales have been so good the last couple of weeks. Like, what do I got to do to maintain that? I mean, what's it really going to take?
I think the one thing people really mistake is they got to go find the hot item for Q4. Everything sells more in Q4, so it's just a matter of keeping what you normally do in, and even higher levels of that because the velocity of every item is going to go up.
Yeah, and that's whether you're selling on eBay or Amazon. I mean, everything sells, and it sells a lot faster, and you don't know what people are buying for gifts. People just get in a spendy mood. They're stuck at home. They're on the internet because there's snow on the ground, and they just buy more stuff. They're not out taking vacations anymore. They're not out doing other things. They're not thinking about saving money for a vacation yet. It's like time to spend.
Was it you or Mike that was telling me my media would go away come cold months? Like I would sell through my media, like my DVDs, because I was complaining because I sent in all those shipments. Like I shouldn't send in a couple of shipments, but it was mostly like DVDs and just media, movies and stuff. And one of you two said, "Oh, well, don't worry about it. They'll sell through in the cold months."
Yeah, that was probably Mike, but I would have told you the exact same.
You're like, "I'll take the credit, though. It's cool."
I mean, I do know that that's true, so totally take the credit. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I've been paying more attention to what I have in Amazon lately instead of like what I have to send in, and I've been thinking. Like before, I would sit there and just like send stuff in just because I wanted to get it in. I wanted to get it out of my house. I wanted to make room for the next shipment or whatever, But now that my velocity's gone up a lot, it's like, well, I got to think more about like how much everything's going to sell for once it gets there. What's going to be. I mean, I always look at my profit and everything. I always look at my numbers and pay attention, but it's just looking at it differently. Like, instead of, okay, this is a 100-item shipment, I'm kind of breaking it down. It's like, all right, this is $3,000 shipment. I paid like $800 for everything. and whatever comes when I get all my fees paid and everything gets sold, I should make about $1,000. So I can't just do one of those a week now. I got to do 2 of those a week.
That's what I really like about the inventory lab. You know, I like seeing on the bottom where it tells you, you know, this was your cost, this was your fees, this is your profit on this shipment. And I'm like, yay! But then I get kind of pissy pants when I turn around like 2 weeks later and I'm like, that stuff hasn't sold yet and I only made $200. You know?
Yeah.
It is cool. It's nice seeing it as you're doing it because it's, you know, like, okay, this is what all this stuff is, you know. I normally take whatever the profit is and cut it in half and be like, all right, I'll probably get that after prices adjust over time, you know. Because, you know, you always aim high and then you're like,
Well, the other thing that's going to help is just having your repricer set up on everything. That's going to blow out inventory like you don't even believe. I mean, it does make a huge difference.
Yeah, I set up, I was telling Paul and Dusty today, I set up the repricer yesterday. I had to go through and I went through and manually did everything, so I'm not finished yet. I only got like a third of the way through my inventory as far as setting it up on the repricer, but I sold 6 things like overnight that have been sitting there since like March and April, so it worked out. So I'm gonna. The stupid thing is I had it set up and I didn't even use it, so I burnt through my trial. So today is my last day, and I have to actually like pay for it.
Yeah. That's basically why I was like, screw it, bulk edit, 50% off, or it'll up or down 50%. Review or focus on profit margin.
Yeah, I did the bulk on the maximum and on the focus, but the minimum I just couldn't. It wasn't coming out right. It wasn't. I wanted some profit. I didn't want them to just sell.
Yeah, I mean, my stuff didn't just sell. There are a couple things that I probably lost on, but you're talking about things that I had listed for $10 that went down to $6 that I paid $4 for, you know. And I mean, pretty close to breaking even after that. But I mean, that's not a lot of. It's like maybe a handful of items. Like if I've done around 400 sales in the last 2 weeks, which is really uncharacteristic. And I mean, I didn't lose on 99% of that stuff.
Yeah, I tested it and it just wasn't coming out for me. And so I don't know if my prices are just too low for it to do the half off, you know, or whatnot, but it just wasn't working. So I've been going through and manually doing it. What I wish they would do, and Mike even said that he submitted a request, you know, a feedback request on if they would just let you put your minimum profit that you want. Like bulk do it like that. Like I'd like a minimum of $4 or whatever.
Yeah, that would kind of work for me, but I mean, my average price per item is about $30, and my average cost per item is around $5. So that's how I. So like I just did the math, and a lot of the stuff actually got priced up. So that made up for anything that I would have sold that I lost a couple bucks on, because there were things that I literally had listed for like $25, and they're selling upwards of $40. So,
see, my thrifted stuff is like that, but my RA stuff is not like that. My RA stuff, there's a lot less profit margin in it. If it was all my, if it was exclusively stuff I got at the thrift store, I could sit there and bulk do it, but not on the RA stuff. It's just too slim on the margin.
Yeah, I had a lot of RA stuff, or I didn't have a lot of RA stuff left because I haven't done really any retail arb in like a month or two. And honestly, when I do retail arbitrage, I'm very picky, and I know exactly how much I'm going to get for the stuff. And I mean, it's like I'm pretty picky, so it sold. That was all sold. I didn't have to worry about that stuff.
What ends up happening with me with RA is that I'll already have stuff from the thrift store that I'm sending in, and then I'll be at the store, and I'm like, oh, I'm already sending a shipment anyway.
Oh.
So my profit ideas are a lot smaller, because I'm like, oh, I'm already sending it anyway. All I have to do is put the sticker on it and throw it in the box I already have, you know. And it's like, so I'm willing to take $2 or $3 on stuff because I'm already doing it. So, but if it was just going out and doing RA and like, oh, I'm only gonna make $3 on everything I have, that's a waste of my time. But
yeah. I mean, I really pay attention to how fast I think the stuff is going to sell. I mean, that's more important to me really than the profit, like making a couple dollars. It doesn't make any sense to pay $2 for something that you're going to make $1 or $2 on maybe in like 6 months if it ever sells. and I've had too much of that happen where it's like, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. This is
And you'll
stupid.
turn around and not realize how much money you have tied up in $5 items.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons why I just kind of let my repricer just go. I was like, whatever, unleash the beast, open the dam, let's see what we can blow out of here, because I've just got too much stuff that I don't really feel like needs to be sitting in my inventory anymore. And the few duds that I did buy, or the stuff that I bought when I first started that I wasn't sure on, I could care less if I make money on that stuff. I want it gone, you know?
And that's what I do with App Eagle. You know, I put my minimum price in for each item or what I want to make and turn it loose against the buy box.
What's App Eagle cost a month?
I'm a grandfather $25 account.
How much is it now? I can look.
I think it's $50, but what my account does, I think it's actually the $150 account. I can make plans and pricing plans and all that crazy stuff.
I might have to see if they'll let me get in on that if I try their app out.
Price.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But I do the same thing Deb does. You know, I'll be in a store and, you know, I'll be looking for certain things, and then there's something with a decent rank that I'll make $4 or $5. I treat it like filler for the box. You know, I throw it in and let the repricer as fast as it can sell it. So.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So what's going on in the chat? What are you talking about here, Scott?
What is Franco talking about? Did he get suspended or what?
Yeah, it said he had been suspended for a couple months, and I was just telling him that my brother has just been reinstated. He had somebody claim that he'd sold used as new, which was he doesn't buy used, and it took 5 weeks, and he had to do 2 911 calls basically to Seller Central to get some attention to say, hey, it's been y'all said you were going to answer me in 2 days, and it's been 3 weeks, and they finally did, but it after waiting, you're gonna have to prompt Seller Central. You got to get lost.
Do you think that the customer was lying, or do you think that maybe it was like a store return that the store put back on the shelf, or does he get it wholesale?
We think we know what happened. We think it was an action figure that the plastic had come off the front of it.
Oh, the glue came undone.
The glue came undone. So by the time it got to the customer, they thought.
I don't think people realize what those stock rooms are like. Like the Walmart stock room is not air conditioned back in some of those areas, and they'll just sit things over there. Like it's 75% air conditioned, and there'll be like a corner of it that's not, and it's 110 degrees back there where the trucks are coming in.
But this item had been hanging on a hang tag for like 3 years, so you know that pressure of hanging.
Oh, it deteriorated.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, that's insane.
Things like that happen. I mean, I was, like I have said before, I was a merchandiser for like 7 years, and I used to go into the stores and repackage items all the time. The little sticker tabs, those little circle tabs would start coming off. I'd have to put new hang tags on things. I'd go in and repackage some of the systems, the video game systems, because they wanted either new games inside, or they wanted a new promotional flyer put inside, or whatever it was. I mean, things get messed around with a lot at the stores, that it's not like everything stays the way it was when it came from the warehouse.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why you have to be really careful, especially when it comes to collectible categories, things like action figures, anything that somebody might buy that they want to keep in the box. You know, like if I'm selling a video game that is complete, if it's collectible, if I'm selling it in the collectible category, like an old NES game, it's because it's in the box, it's got all the manuals and inserts, and it's in good shape, and I do like a very descriptive description. Like I'm really good about making sure they know exactly what they're gonna get.
Like like Lala Loopsy.
Yeah.
Lala Loopsy used to be called Bitty Buttons, and when they changed the name of that doll, I went into the store and put stickers over Bitty Buttons that said Lala Loopsy on the boxes. Like that's just what the manufacturers do. They just like.
But it's really made me more careful about looking at something. You know, I used to just, man, there's money in that, I'll buy it. But, you know, I really look at the packaging, because, you know, stores are real bad about, you know, taking a return and somebody will go, oh, I didn't open it. But, you know, they opened it and the box doesn't look perfect. I leave all that stuff now. I didn't want to deal with any of that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you do have to be careful. Every once in a while, I'll buy something that I'm just not sure about, so I'll crack it just to see what's in there, especially buying stuff from a thrift store. Because if you're buying a Target returned item, you never know. You got to look at it and make sure that it's actually new sometimes. But, I mean, it really just depends on what you're selling.
When I first started on Amazon, I did the same thing. I got stuff from the thrift store. I thought it was new. I didn't open it all the way up. I just opened it and said, oh, okay, that's new. It's got all the packaging. And I had like a couple of the feedback that were, this wasn't new. This was, used, or it had fingerprints on it, or had this on it. Unfortunately, like, Amazon took responsibility for it, but I could have totally gotten in trouble, lost my account, and I wouldn't even be talking about Amazon.
But how many times have we heard Dusty say, protect your account. You got to live in fear of the fact that they could at any moment could suspend you.
Yeah, it's you really got to respect their ability to do that. It's important, especially this time of year when the sales start getting crazy and you're sending in as much stuff as you can, trying to make as much as you can in the months where you can really just go crazy, and that works. But you got to be afraid of that.
My brother does it part-time, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm going to sell $500,000 this year. I've really got to be careful. So
right.
I've really sort of stepped back in the last month or so and taken more time with each item and taking more time with the inventory just to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, there are too many stories of people just losing their accounts, and there's always more to the story, but, I mean, no matter what you do, it just depends on, like, if you get the wrong person to buy your item, somebody that knows how to frame something to make you look like you're a villain, then Amazon's more likely to take their side and get you in trouble. I mean, that's the worst part about Amazon to me. It's like, it does seem like it might be a little bit too easy for somebody to just come along and sabotage you just for the sake of doing it.
And I've also changed the way I look at feedback. You can get a negative feedback, and it's pretty easy with FBA to get it stricken off or taken off.
Mm-hmm.
But each time I get one of those, if I get it stricken off, I contact the customer and make it right. Whether I got to do something to make that customer happy, because I don't want them calling Amazon. So I'll go a step farther. Hey, you weren't happy. I'm sorry about this. Here's a refund. Here's a whatever. Just for protection for myself.
So
yeah.
if a customer leaves a feedback and Amazon strikes it through, can that customer still pursue additional things with that item?
I've been told that if they strike through it, Amazon sends them an email saying, this feedback was stricken through because of this. You can redo it.
Yeah, they don't send any kind of email. 'Cause remember my big hubbub about the hidden blade thing from Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
That was my nephew's birth. Yeah, they got that struck through on their feedback. I was furious that it got struck. It was a seller issue. It was not an Amazon problem. But they got it struck through, and I looked at their feedback, and they get things struck through all the time. So I was wondering what my repercussions were if I could do anything else, because that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
sure
sure.
Just take something out of the box and wrap it in a freaking poly bag and say it's new. It doesn't work like that.
New to you.
Yeah. I would be pretty upset myself if they. It just goes to show. I mean, it really depends on who you're talking to, but it doesn't really matter because I mean, there's got to be something that still counts against you, and there's still got to be ways to make everything kind of stick to somebody. If they're doing something wrong. I
put in that feedback that it was the seller sent an item to the warehouse without the box and sold it as new, blah, blah, blah. Nope, struck through.
Did they fix the problem?
No, nothing happened.
So you didn't get a refund?
I did get a refund. I got it from the Amazon guy because he was an orphan.
So
and he was upset about my nephew.
So let it go.
No,
yeah.
I think it's bullshit.
Did you have to send the item back?
No, I didn't. But it's not about Amazon. It's about the seller.
The funny thing is that if you did something like that and then the seller or the buyer hung on to it, you would be complaining just the same.
No, I wouldn't.
You would be so upset that they're holding on to this, and I gave them their refund, and they still don't.
He didn't give me the refund. Amazon did.
Amazon
Who cares
But
what
that's how it
account
works.
you're out of?
It's called automatic customer service. Amazon automatically gives them a refund.
They still
Yeah.
should have the bad feedback.
Well, anyway, Paul, what I was trying to say is, with eBay, you can treat a customer because that's your customer. eBay thinks they're your customer, and Amazon thinks it's Amazon's customer. He
Yep.
said, I'm just trying to kind of blend the two together where I take care of that customer, like you would want to be taken care of, just so that if something ever were to happen, you at least got some grand to say, hey, Amazon, I do everything I can with every customer, and you can look back and see that I've done everything I can.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I talked about this before. I've given double refunds, just so somebody can get their money back and go buy an extra one because of whatever they said the
I'm
problem.
going shopping in Mike's store.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried. The only negative feedback that I could never get removed, I've tried to get a hold of that guy multiple times, and he hasn't answered any of my emails. So.
I have one that I kind of tried to get removed, and they were like, no, and I just left it alone. It was my fault. Like, it was
Well,
just
this wasn't my fault at all.
mine was just straight up my fault. I left the Goodwill tags on something.
yeah, I did that the other day. Oops.
According to Gary Vee, everything that happens in your business is your fault.
Amen.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, I take full responsibility for everything that I do. I know when things aren't going my way, it's because of me. It's something that I did. I mean, sure, there are certain things that you can do that can happen to you that negatively affect you, but if you stay diligent and keep doing the right thing, then the right stuff is going to happen to you enough to more than cancel out all the things that are happening just because of circumstance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most people are good. Most people aren't out to get you. They're not going to try to screw you. And when I say people, I'm talking about buyers. I mean, if you're getting a lot of negative feedback or you're having a lot of issues with this or that or a lot of returns, I mean, maybe you should look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
See, the one thing I've decided that I kind of try to live by it is the people that are out to screw you are going to get you no matter what you do. And so you really can't waste your time dealing with those kind of folks. You can't treat the next person in the line like they're out to screw you because you ran into that bad person. Most people are good. You have to treat them that way, and then it'll come back to you.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you never know when somebody just had a bad day, Let's see. Maggie Love MTC says, what's the least amount price to get rid of items on FBA without getting a minus? I am guessing she means, like, what's the cheapest you can sell something for and still make a profit? And, of course, that just depends on, what your cost is in the first place. But the FBA fees, don't they tend to be like $4.50 minimum?
It's like $3.75 or somewhere in that range.
Yeah, it's like it depends on the weight, but with the lightest item you can possibly send in there, it's like $3.50.
Okay. So there you go. As long as you're selling, if you got it for free and you sell it for $4, then you just made 50 cents. If you can do that, 100 times a day, that's not so bad. I mean, that's one of the reasons why some of these guys make money selling stuff at $3.99 or whatever. But
it would have to be like a sheet of paper that you got for free.
No, don't be jealous, Mike.
Well, I mean, video game cases are pretty small and lightweight and compact. Same with CDs. That's probably like where you're at for the what you're looking at for the cheapest rates, I guess. But
if you're selling lumps of coal and you got them for free, you're probably going to pay more than $3.50, $3.75.
Right, exactly. I mean, I always talk about like Wii Fit boards and Guitar Hero guitars, but they're oversized, so you got to sell them for a little bit more, even if you get them for free. If you're not getting $15 for them, then you're probably not making anything after all the shipping and the all those little other prices, built-in costs or whatever. But
the Vulcan Nerf guns, that's another one.
Yeah, anything big like that. Now, when you send those in, do you just like bag them and throw a label on them, or do you actually put them in a box and package them correctly and try and make it so that Amazon doesn't? You don't have to rely on Amazon's air pillows for it to make it to the customer.
You talking about the Nerf guns?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just wrap those in bubble wrap, and that's about it.
Okay.
Saran wrap, whatever stuff. But
Yeah, and you've never had problems with that? No
nope,
complaints about something breaking or being badly packaged?
it's a Nerf gun.
I
It's
know,
made
but they're...
to be beat up. But like I'm not. It's the same thing with the Guitar Hero guitars too. Those things are made to be beat up. So,
Mhm.
but I'm not sending in like any glass stuff or anything like that. No, I really package the hell out of it. Anything that I think has a potential for breaking.
Yeah, like anytime you're doing electronics or things like that, then I would recommend, if you want to deal with old VCRs and old DVD players and stuff like that, you should probably be putting them in boxes, because I've had so many returns on just damaged during shipment because I was sending stuff in with a layer of bubble wrap on it. But yeah, when it comes to like Wii Guitar or Guitar Hero guitars and Wii Fit boards and stuff like that, they're pretty bulletproof. I mean, all you have to do really is wrap those up and send them in, and they'll be fine.
Has Amazon started, you know, like when you used to have problems with your shipment, they would say they'd leave the shipment open and receiving, but now they close it out, but it still has reconciliation things?
Do
Amazon
what now?
inventory sucks.
You know how, like, you used to get a notification saying, like, there was a problem with your shipment? Like, whether you sent too many of something or you sent something and they weren't expecting it. And it used to sit there and, like, the shipping status used to say that it was still open or it was in receiving or it was whatever until you went through and let them know what to do with the discrepancies. And now it looks like it closes out. Like, the shipment status closes out even if you have, like, things to reconcile on the shipment. I'm going through my last 4 shipments, and there was 2 of them that had things that were discrepancies, but the status is closed. It's not just
They
like
just
sitting there.
automatically reconcile some things. Like if it's a warehouse damaged item, a lot of times they'll just, hey,
Yeah.
here's your money.
No, I'm talking about like whenever there's a discrepancy on quantity. You know, whenever you said there was 1, but you sent 2, or you didn't say there was any at all, and you sent 1.
Yeah.
That
I
gets...
don't know what's up with that reconcile thing. I don't know if it's because of all the stuff they're changing over to or whatever, but I've noticed that stuff seems to stay open.
It doesn't. I mean, it used to stay open, but now these ones were closed status, but they still had reconcile issues that I had to go through and say research or I didn't send that. So, and I didn't know. I didn't get a notification or anything.
It might have been closing, but they've been closing like 6 or 8 weeks later.
Here's
Oh,
my,
this is from last week. Yeah, this is a shipment from the 25th.
I got the same thing, Devin. I got to be honest. That I signed up for their new program where I got to put my special label on the boxes saying that this is what's in that box. I've been sending case packs, and the freaking idiots in Amazon warehouse can't count case packs.
1, 2.
Oh, they say, you know, I'm missing 6 items of this, and I got 8 items more of that, and I'm like, I opened the case up, I counted the case, I closed the case, and how did it change between here and...
Are they basically like doing that so that they can say that there's a discrepancy on your packing list because they're supposed to pay you when your packing list is correct?
I don't really care if they pay me or don't pay
Oh,
me.
I don't either. I mean, you got to do so much volume to make a reasonable amount off of that.
I don't have the packing list thing, and they've been doing it to me, but you know, it was that specific warehouse that mine were getting all the issues at, though. They lost 35 of an item. And it wasn't something like tiny and lightweight like that could be lost. And they paid me for all of them, but I'm like, dude, I would have rather sold the things, you know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah, sometimes when you send in large volume, you know, you're looking to take over the listing.
Yeah.
I hate when they lose some of my, you know, they've lost cases on me, 96 items in a case.
Yeah.
That's just
most recently, I sent in 2 full cases. It's basically a case pack of items, and they said that they were at the wrong warehouse. and they asked me to acknowledge that. That's what they said. We won't put these on up on listing until you acknowledge that you sent them to the wrong place. And I was like, no, investigate. And then they sent me a message back, oh, we apologize for the inconvenience, blah, 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 whatever. And it took like 4 or 5 days before they got back to me. So it was 4 or 5 days of me waiting for them to put my stuff up.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
But it's always the same warehouse.
And guys,
now they've switched me.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah, they switched me now, so I'm happy. I'm going back to Virginia, and I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I've been going to Moreno Valley for the last few shipments, and I've had 0 issues. I mean, everything gets checked in. It gets checked in fast. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not going to specify which one, because the last time I complained about it, they made all of my items go to that shipment.
They're watching the show, and they're like, oh, yeah, buddy, you want to complain? Here you go.
Not anymore, man.
You want to talk trash about us? Let me fix you.
Right?
It's what it felt like, man. It was like the first time. It's the first time ever that they didn't split my shipments. Even if I had like 5 items, they didn't split them at all. But they all went to that one warehouse that I hate.
Yeah, I've actually tried something different. I turned on inventory placement, so I'm going to one warehouse, and because I'm on the East Coast, and if they divide it into 3, so I always send to the West Coast, and that was triple to quadruple the cost.
Yeah.
Not sending to the West Coast has really paid for the inventory placement. So it's been real nice sending to one warehouse all the time.
Do you find a big lag because of them having to move it to the other warehouses for you?
No, they check it in at the same speed. It just shows back ordered is all.
Right. It shows that it's reserved and all that. But that's what I'm saying. How much of a lag do you have? You just don't.
I don't care. I mean, I've got.
Don't even pay attention. It doesn't.
I've noticed that some of, like when I was shipping everything to that one warehouse, that was my big concern. Those 35 items I wanted up right away because the price had gone up and I know it was going to come back down, and then they lost them all. And then I had other items, the same thing, that have gone in reserve for like weeks that I'm not selling anything. Meanwhile, people are chasing to the bottom on those things.
Well, when I started doing stuff in a hotel room, it was much easier to not have to sort everything. Everything goes in one box. And then I kind of got lazy when I got home. I'm like, let's just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've got 3,000 or 4,000 items, so I mean, I don't really track the speed. I just keep adding to it.
Now your stuff usually sells through really fast, right? I mean, you're pretty picky about like your rankings and everything.
Yeah, I generally don't stray above the top 10% unless I'm gonna make like quadruple my money or something.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I feel like I gotta pay more attention to if I want to kind of ramp it up and get to that point where I'm selling 10 grand a month or 20 grand a month. Is taking those lower profit margins on stuff that I know is gonna sell really fast. I mean, if you can buy 20 of something for $5 a piece and they sell for $12 a piece, and you end up making like $2.50 each on them, and then you go to the next store and the next store and the next store and get 10 at every store, and they're ranked 1,000 or whatever, and they're gonna sell as soon as you hit the buy box. Then,
but like yesterday was a good example. I went looking for one item in one store, and I went to 12 of the stores. The item sells for $20. And on Amazon it lists at $149.99.
What item's that, Scott?
And the rank was like in the top 25%. It was higher, but you're gonna make $100 an item.
Can you tell me one of them?
Yeah, I only found 17 yesterday.
Jesus. Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that makes you want to keep doing retail arbitrage, obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean, so for that kind of profit, I'll take the high return. It'll be a little bit of a slow seller, but man, everyone that sells is just
home run.
And I think the rank is because there's one listing for new, and that's it. So I think it's a supply issue versus a demand issue.
Do you want to get into wholesale, Scott?
And don't worry, I'm going to go to a bunch of these stores over the next 3 weeks. So I'm looking to buy 100 of those things.
What is it again? I'm trying here, guys. I'm trying to get you a BOLO for Christmas.
Yeah. Scott's a little smarter than that.
He also knows I'm breaking his chops because I got the same type of. I don't have items like that, but I got stuff that.
There's one item that I told Paul about, Nicorette lozenges. You can't get them anymore, but I found one yesterday. It was expired, so I listed it on eBay while I was in the car, and it sold for $429 for one box yesterday.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Do they make meth with them or something?
I don't know, man. I paid $36 for it and sold it for $429.
Jeez. See, I've actually, since you started talking about it, I've found some Nicorette a couple of times, but it's always, like something that I pay 10 or 15 bucks for at a thrift store, and then I send it in and it gets 50 bucks or something like that. But yeah, a lot of that stuff you do have to end up selling it on eBay, but it's still.
And there were 2 boxes, so I'm waiting to sell the second box. Yay.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was expired, and I found 3 other boxes, and the cashier looks at it and goes, "Oh, this is expired. I can't sell it to you." And that cashier yesterday flipped that box, and
I need it for a project. I'm not gonna eat them.
she looked at that box 3 or 4 times. I'm like, man, she's gonna look at that date. She's gonna look at that date, and she never did.
Yeah. So they literally told you, "I'm not selling this to you."
That's
one
correct.
of them, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't sell it. You didn't
wouldn't.
talk them into it.
I tried, so she would not do it. She would not budge.
That is stupid. I'd be coming over the counter for some.
Scientist, and I need these for science. I'm curing
You should have
cancer.
told her I'm jonesing, man. I'm jonesing. I need my lozenges.
Yeah.
All right, if you won't sell me them, sell me a pack of Marlboros.
Yeah, I told her I'm gonna start shaking with withdrawals if you don't help me out.
I would have just started having a seizure right there. Just.
Yeah, this is a Best Buy date. It's not an expiration date. Just means that they're better if you use them by this date. It's not. They don't expire. Don't worry.
And that's actually what they are. They are a Best Buy. It just means that they're guaranteeing that the full power of the lozenge is through that date. I mean, it's not an expiration. It doesn't expire.
Exactly. A lot of that kind of stuff doesn't really expire. I mean, I don't know. So
like
Michael Wallace asked, how often do you guys have Amazon move your inventory around after it's been in a specific warehouse for a while?
All the time, every day.
I don't have.
You don't get.
Whoa.
Yeah, I have no idea either. You don't get to tell them what warehouse to send stuff to. They do it on their own when they feel like it.
Yeah, you can look at your daily activity report, and it'll tell you like what warehouse your stuff's in, and it moves around all the time.
Yeah, so I just try not to pay too much attention to that.
It's kind of hard when I have $160 million in inventory.
Yeah. Drop shipper.
What is that? What is that, like about $200-300 in profit?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. If you use Chad's calculator, it's $1.50.
Hey, at least you're making something.
Yeah, I just chalk that moving around up into something you can't control, something you can't do anything about. So why worry about it?
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody had a thread this morning that I commented on. I forget which group it was in. Basically, it said, do you get tied up in looking left and right at everybody else's business and what else, all these things that you can't control, and totally lose sight of what you're doing? You know,
Yeah.
I can't control what Amazon does with my inventory once it's there. I can promise you one thing. If I'm on a hot selling item and I got large volumes of inventory, they're not moving enough that they're going to injure my sales. They want to make sure that I'm still fulfilling the sales on that item. I've learned how to control the buy box and how often I had it over the last month on a certain product. Inventory plays a huge part in it, and what they're doing is they want to make sure the customer is getting what they need when they need it.
Yeah, they don't want a customer to go somewhere else for any reason.
For any reason.
Yeah.
I actually think I've seen a guy talk about it in, I don't know, June or July when I was in Florida. He said that he's knocked Amazon off a few listings. And his theory is the reason he's been able to take Amazon off the listing is Amazon doesn't want to sell any products. They want a percentage of every sale made. And if you can prove to Amazon that you can keep up the inventory levels at a price point that's satisfactory to their customers, they're going to get off the listing and let you have it. They're going to let you sell the item and they can move on to somewhere else.
Yeah.
But Scott, you never answered my question. You want to do wholesale, bud? We can work a little deal out, maybe.
Right.
You hit me with a few BOLOs, I can hit you with a few BOLOs. Mine lasts longer than a couple of months, though.
Yeah, there's only two people I know that know this one. Me and my brother. That's about it.
Yeah. I need to find a couple of those myself. Once you get everything on the East Coast over there bought out and you've hit all the stores, then you can let me know about it, and I'll start working on the West Coast over here.
Yeah, once I get back from Chicago, I'll tell you.
All right.
Well, I found a product and I was on it and I couldn't supply it. Could not keep. Sales are like $700 a month. It's an RA item only. You can't buy it online anywheres. And you're never going to be able to buy enough. And if it's that kind of item, you can give it out to everybody because regardless of how many you find, you'll never be able to sell them all.
Now, this item, John, was marked down. It's on clearance, but the company never put a tag on the clearance. So you can walk up to it and take it to the register, and the cashier goes, "Man, that was a good deal." so I know the items are going to be sitting in these stores because there's no tags on them company-wide.
Right, and nobody knows, and nobody's scanning it because it's like, okay, you got to get that kind of money for it just to break even. And
and if you watch the show, you know exactly what story he's talking about.
I only go
say it again.
I only go to like 5 or 6, so you can pick one of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know which one it is, and I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, and then you got to scan the whole store to figure out which item he's talking about. Screw that! It ain't worth the $10.
Well, it's not $10. It's $100.
Order into my store.
It's $100. It's $100 an item, John.
$100 profit per item. If I can find 10 at every store, I'm definitely gonna spend some time. That's a couple $1,000s.
I ordered 40 cases of a product that makes $10 a unit, and there's 40 units in a box. It's the same thing. It's $10 to me.
Yeah. Uh-oh, dead fall off. But yeah.
You know, back to Q4, I really didn't get to put any input into that. You gotta have. I told Paul, I said I want to hit 100,000 plus for Christmas, for the month of December. And to do that, I gotta have $120,000 to $130,000 in inventory in there at the beginning of December, because if I hit 100,000 in sales, I got to come out with still having inventory for January. I can't go from hero to zero and think I'm going to hit the 100 grand. If just sending 100 grand in, I'm not going to sell out.
And people make a mistake with Q4. Q4, technically, that sales boost does not end on Christmas. It carries through to the second week of January. All these gift cards and everything people have gotten, they still spend.
I just said that to my wife. I said, you know, we're probably going to sell more the week after Christmas than the week before Christmas.
And the mistake a lot of sellers make is they don't have inventory to carry through to that. You know, they're trying to get to Christmas, and they miss a lot of sales those next 2 or 3 weeks because they didn't plan to carry enough through.
The other thing is you got to think about what people are going to be buying after Christmas. The additional things that they're going to need.
Diet aids.
The what?
Diet stuff. Diet and exercise stuff.
That's the whole New Year deal, but I'm just talking about in general what people buy.
No, it's stuff like if you're buying an Easy Bake Oven after Christmas, all those extra packages sell very well. It's stuff like that all these toys that have stuff to go with them.
Nerf bullets, Nerf darts.
Yeah, the stuff that's accessories are really sell well because they got part of it and they want to go buy the next part of it.
Right.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about video games so much is that people buy them before Christmas, and then that's one of the first go-to things that they start buying after Christmas too, because it's like I didn't get that game I wanted, but I got a gift card to Amazon, so they get on Amazon and they buy it. So yeah, I mean for me usually it's like February before sales start to trickle off a little bit, and then by March or April, like late March, April, May, it just goes through the floor, and next thing you know, during the summer months, it's just tanked. For me, I mean, they're the months where I do, 5 or 10 grand, and then like this time of year, and then at the end of the year or in the middle of next year, it'll go down to like 3,000 to 4,000. Which I mean, now you're kind of like building up your. I'm building up my cash stash now so that I can float through those months and not really expect to be able to pay all my bills just with my sales. So that's my goal for quarter 4 is generate enough income so that when I do have those crappy months next year, then I'm not gonna be sweating it.
Well, you said that one of the things that I did to offset the crappy months, which I kind of it worked, but it didn't work, was start selling stuff that sells during those off months. You know what I mean?
Ooh, sell stuff that sells? That's sound advice.
The stuff that makes sense, like seasonal type stuff, you know what I mean? And like right now and in the next month is probably the best time to buy that stuff if you want to, carry yourself through. But I bought it last year. I bought a ton of it. The problem is that as soon as I finally got it in there in end of May, June, it was all gone. I didn't realize it was going to go so fast. I thought it would carry through, like a couple thousand, per month. But it was like the first month, $5,000-$6,000, bam, gone. I mean, and it's all the summer stuff, the Intex, different types of swimming things, and small swimming pools, and squirt guns, and all that stuff that people are buying through the summer. Sunscreens, if you're doing health and beauty and that kind of stuff. If you get the ones that expire like in 2017 or whatever, you can really make some money on that stuff.
Yeah, just send it in anytime, and eventually it'll hit the season where it just sells out. I mean,
right now you can get it for like 75% off.
Yeah.
Well, too, don't make the mistake that stuff won't sell now. If you price it up and get premium prices because there's not as much supply. It's not cold everywhere, Everybody doesn't live in Denver where Paul's going to be cold here shortly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We wear shorts through November.
Yeah, I mean, and plus Denver is still a place where a lot of people are always out and about. They're still buying sunscreen all year, even if it is just to go up the mountain, because, I mean, you can get sunburned just from being on, like, 10,000, being up at 10,000 feet, or 8,000 feet. You just get it easier. And, yeah, it might only be on your face, but people are still using those kind of products.
Yeah.
Obviously, though, there are just times a year where a lot more people are using them, so they sell a lot better.
Well, yeah, the volume is massive, and then the prices are outrageous.
Yeah, that's the one thing I keep hearing from you guys. Everybody says, "Oh, Amazon's so easy. You just scan it and go." You got to take some thought in it. If you really want to raise your business to a certain level, it takes thought through products, thought through time of year, thought to what you can sell.
Yeah.
It's more than just, oh, look, there's a profit margin in that.
That's what I don't do. I don't think about my business on Amazon at all. Like, I just scan it. Oh, yeah, there's $5, there's $10, whatever. I don't even know. Like, the items that I have there, I couldn't name them off to you. It's just, it was a barcode. That's all that was.
And you're still doing $15,000 a month on Amazon?
I am, yes. I am. Me and excelling. Oh, no, a month? Damn, no.
Oh.
Yeah, no, and that's really something I do need to, after I get everything all organized, I will be putting more thought into the things that I'm buying and why and when and planning and all of that stuff. But right now, that stuff that I have at Amazon, it was a barcode I scanned. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people ask me, what do you sell on Amazon? I'm like, what time of year is it? It really does change depending on where you're at in the year.
Yeah, so you really do focus on, you kind of been doing this long enough, though, that you kind of know what sells at what time of year and like those when you get into those seasonal items, you know how long you have to spend a lot of time on them and a lot of money on them to maximize your profit, right?
Yeah, this is coming around my second year, and I took a lot of mental notes, and Dusty's mental filing cabinet, and so I feel much more prepared this year to go, man, I missed this, or I could have done this much easier coming through this year. I'm excited for what is ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've learned enough.
I think John is the one that made me think about it more than anybody else.
John who?
But he kept saying how this is my fourth quarter. This is my fourth quarter. And I'm thinking, well, you for the most part, you can make every quarter your fourth quarter if you're selling the right stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? You really can. If you think about it, put a little forethought into it. If you're doing wholesale or however you're trying to get it, buying the stuff and holding it, or whatever the case is, you could make every quarter your fourth quarter. It's just a matter of putting some, like Scott just said, put some thought into it and and do some strategic planning.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that's all they do on Amazon. They just go and buy out the clearance after a season, and then they sit on it for a year, and then the next year they send all that stuff in when it's time. When those products are 90% off, they'll sit there and just clear out stores and put it in a storage unit, and then it's worth it to sit on it for 8 months, and then they get it all sent off, and now they're getting top dollar again.
I think a lot of what has to do with getting you over to the next level, like doing that planning and things like that, is getting over your fear of the unknown. Because, I mean, if you're going to buy and you're going to invest your money now for something that you're not going to see until next May, there's a fear in that, of the unknown of what's going to happen, and I'm tying this money up, and I don't know what I'm doing, and, yeah. It's like investing in the stock market. You're like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
A lot of things too you hear that will sell. Like last year people told me buy plenty of Halloween candy because it'll sell all the way through Christmas and on. And I bought some, but I didn't buy a ton. And I didn't make it to hardly through end of November, and I was out.
Yeah. I bought quite a bit of candy myself, and I mean, some of it sold right away. Some of it sat there until I kicked my repricer in, and then once that got me once the buy box hit, then I knew. It's like, okay, well, I guess I just hit the buy box because it all sold out in like a day.
And then I didn't believe them about the Christmas stuff, so I didn't buy any of the tinsel or the lights or any of that stuff. And I feel like I missed a huge opportunity there because I'm tired of hearing Dusty tell me he sold more lights.
I don't know. For me, I don't do seasonal. None of my items are. I mean, I have my main item is seasonal, but everything else is plain Jane, non-sexy, tighty-whitey boxer shorts. I mean, it's the same thing. I sell the same thing. That's if you look at my products, they're the same as they were in 1950.
Yeah, I don't chase seasons at all, and I mean, I feel like it'd probably be the easiest way to break into, picking things up a little bit. But I mean, I can still find all the stuff that I need, like a lot of video game stuff. I don't know, half of my, maybe more than that. I'd have to look. But like probably 60 or 70% of what I sell is video games and electronics.
The very first shipment I sent to Amazon, when I was like, all right, I'm going to do this experiment, I'm going to see if I can do this, was after Christmas clearance. But it wasn't like a Christmas item. It was just something that was seasonal. Like the fragrance was seasonal, and I bought like 5 or 6 different ones, and they sold. It was not great, but it was a good experiment because it was a cheap way to get into Amazon. I invested $50 in 100 products basically, and learned how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've done quite a bit of those in the past. It's just never really make enough money on the stuff to make
Yeah.
it while to go looking for it everywhere.
Well, what I did is I made that mistake that a lot of people make, where they scan it and then they don't quiet, and they don't know what they're doing. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, so I scanned the item, and there was one seller that had one price at like $25.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, sweet. Well, no, that's not how it worked out. You know. So that was the. And a lot of new sellers get into that. They find an item and they see that one seller that has it priced at $40, and then they're like, I'm gonna buy them all, and then it's not selling for that price.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at a Snickers bar, I mean, if you're looking at a Snickers bar and you scan it and the Amazon listing comes up and it's like $65 for that Snickers bar, rethink it. Use a little common sense.
And read the description. I've found here recently there's a lot of people that don't put pack of 8 or pack of 20 anywhere in the title. It's way down in the description somewhere, and it's only a picture of one, not the pack.
I've ran into
two big faux pas in Amazon.
I've ran into that before. Of the, oh man, these are really. Oh no, that's for 8 of them. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
It gets worse whenever it's like you think it's a single item and it's a 2-pack, because then the prices are so close.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, it's about that time again. Got to get out of here, get some stuff done. But I want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for coming on. I think we had a pretty good discussion today. But yeah, if you're catching it towards the end here, we were talking mostly about, what is it? What are your goals for quarter 4? We hear so much talk about it, like all year round. And then once it starts getting closer, everybody's just like, you got to do it. But we're talking more about what you have to do to hit the kind of goals that all these people are talking about. And I mean, it's more than just being a seller on the platform. You really have to think about what you're doing, what kind of stuff you're selling, that sort of thing. But we'll be back on Friday. Not sure what we're going to be talking about yet. At least I will be. I don't know about everybody else. It's always a crapshoot. There's days where I show up by myself and gotta still handle it. But you can go check out the Reseller Wake Up on Facebook. That's my group. I post the latest episode of over there. Also everybody else posts their videos, and if you've got any comments, suggestions, whatever about the show, you can always go over there and hit us up, and we'll see everything that gets posted. You can also comment below after the video goes off air, and I'm going to be putting a link to the Hangout in the chat if you want to come in and say hello. But anyway, I'm Resale Ronin on Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, all that stuff. We will see you all Friday at Bitcoin.